That's our pre-beginning. Before beginning. Oh, here we are.
We on?
Yep.
Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie.
This is Adonai Sanctuary Truth Classroom. Today is what? March 3rd. Wow. February is gone. March 3rd. We're going to be on Judges 20 in a minute. I told my sweetie today that there's something that I was thinking about that I had to come up with a catchphrase. Isn't that what I told you at lunch? Here it is. This is really interesting. You have to think about it for about half a second. Politics is like religion. If you're wrong, it's useless. Well, can you argue with that?
No.
I mean,
Politics is like religion for wrong.
that is something that stuck in my craw today, and I've been thinking about it. And with all these goofy things that the government's doing, and trying to not let the world take control, not let one of the most dangerous men ever be eliminated, and they want to vote on whether he should do any more or not. To me, it's stupid.
Yes.
If you don't like it, you get your own program.
Read the scripture.
Judges 20 seems to tell the Levi's story of what happened in Gibeah. Yet when we went over his whole story, it doesn't go totally along with what happened according to Judges 19, does it? Let's try to understand the misconnection. My sweetie's going to read 20, verse 1 and 2.
All the people of Israel came out from Dan to Beersheba, including Gilead. The community assembled with one accord before Adonai at Mitzpah. The leaders of all the tribes of Israel presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 foot soldiers armed with swords. Yeah.
Hebrews were angry
Here we go.
and wondering, why did each of our communities receive a body part? Kind of an unusual thing. They'll open the mailbox and see. They must have surmised that whatever it was, there must be trouble coming. So they brought 400,000 armed soldiers. Well, in 20 verse 3, we find out that the tribe of Benjamin also heard about the assembly. Read 3, please.
Now the people of Benjamin heard that the people of Israel had gone up to Mitzpah. The people of Israel said, "Tell us, how was this crime committed?"
Why and how did this happen? Read 4, please.
The Levi, the husband of the murdered woman, answered, "I came to Gibeah, which belongs to Benjamin, I and my concubine, to stay the night." 4.
The Levi states, we came to Gibeah, the Benjamin city, to spend the night. So far, we followed what he said. Now read 5.
And the men of Gibeah attacked me and surrounded the house I was staying in at night. They wanted to kill me, but instead they raped my concubine to death. It's a little...
We were attacked? Attacked? We read where the mob did surround the house he was in. They did, by the scripture, state they wanted to take him and have sex with him. But he states they wanted to kill him. He didn't say, I gave my wife, or even admit he gave them his concubine, knowing that most likely his wife was going to be passed around, mistreated, raped by a large number of the mob while he slept at the house that night. So far, I'm concerned. You see, he may have portrayed himself the victim. Should he have at least stated, I had a hard time sleeping that night? This Levi didn't say, after I got up and had breakfast, I opened the door, and there, my surprise, my wife was laying at the door, hurting, possibly naked, bruised, with the arm reaching for the door. And then he, with all his passion of a loving husband, said, get up, let's go. I'm sorry, but this rendition of the story makes me quite angry at him also. Wouldn't you say that, George?
Crazy.
Then he tries to show some sort of inconvenience in what happened to him and what he allowed. But that part he must have forgot to state. After all, it wasn't any his doing, well, not in his eyes. In the rest of chapter 20 and 21, we'll find out if this Levi got away with it. Read 6, please.
I took my concubine's body, cut it into pieces, and sent them throughout all the territories belonging to Israel, because they committed a shockingly obscene and degrading crime in Israel.
I cut her up, so every tribe would get a piece of my concubine, and now I want you to, well, read 7.
Look, you are all people of Israel, so discuss what to do, and give your advice here and now.
You people of Israel, discuss it, and let me, and us, know what you decide. What's your advice? Well, will he find out? The Levi had no responsibility at that matter at all. By looking the other way, getting a good night's sleep. Yes, what happened with the mob in that Benjamite was horrible. Benjamite city was horrible. We feel so was his actions, admittedly, as far as I'm concerned, was horrible also.
See what Anne said?
Anne said, Anne is watching. Now she says,
I think I might have killed it.
Ah,
Yeah, I agree.
I had to turn him back over to the mob. Read verse 8, please.
All the people stood up in agreement and said, none of us will go home to his tent or his house.
We're all in agreement. Read 9 through 11.
What will we do now to Gibeah is this. We'll draw lots. We'll take 10 men out of each 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 out of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000 to collect food for the others. When these come to Gibeah in Benjamin, they will avenge the crime that was committed. Oh, through 11, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thus all men of Israel joined together in complete agreement, assembled to attack the city.
Get a large group of men to go out and get some food for our army so we are well fed. Might as well what they actually say.
Yeah.
When we go against Gibeah, we want our bellies full. Yet it seems the tribes wanted it done the easy way, so they, well, read 12, please.
The tribes of Israel sent men throughout all the tribe of Benjamin with this message. What is this crime committed by some of your people?
Do you know about Gibeah? And what they have done? Or you might say, and do? The tribe of Benjamin, we must get rid of that kind of evil by your city in Gibeah. All right, read 13.
Turn over these good-for-nothings who are in Gibeah at once, so that we can execute them and rid Israel of such evil. But the people of Benjamin refused to obey the order of their kinsmen, the people of Israel.
Turn over those wicked men. Then we will execute them to purge that kind of evil from all of Israel. But, read 14.
Instead, the people of Benjamin gathered themselves together from their cities and went to Gibeah to fight the people of Israel.
You might not like this next reading, but it's going to be read to you anyway. The tribe of Benjamin said no. People, that must be where the U.S. got their harebrained party stance by backing the lawbreakers is more important than backing their own country citizens. Neither worked very well as far as I'm concerned. So did the tribe of Benjamin protect the lawbreakers? Yes. Again, one party did that during the last election here. Like here, they gathered for a fight and lost. Common sense prevailed then and now.
Amen.
How many soldiers, how many special forces? Read 15, please.
On that day, there were 26,000 men from Benjamin, armed with swords, besides the inhabitants of Gibeah, who numbered 700 specially chosen men.
26,000 soldiers. 700 special forces were ready. Those 700 were unique individuals. Read 16, please.
All of these 700 specially picked men were left-handed.
Yes.
And and everyone could sling a stone at a hare and not miss.
Not only were they all left-handed, and could hit a hare with a slingshot. Now wait a minute. It says in my notes, explain the two hares. It doesn't mean a rabbit. Read the hare. That's like a hair in your head.
Mm-hmm.
The left-handed slingshotters could hit the hair on your head. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Now first, second, third time I went over that, I thought about a rabbit. When you first read it and hear it, you make it think like a rabbit. But when you went over it, my sweetie says, that's wrong. So I went over it again, and she was right. They could hit the hair. That's interesting. Every time.
Yep, and not miss.
Now that meant they were good soldiers, good warriors. But all the other tribes' numbers were large. Read 17, please.
The army of Israel, apart from Benjamin, numbered 400,000 men with swords. They were all experienced soldiers.
400 trained soldiers. 400 against 26,700. But we find out later that it wasn't the normal cakewalk to defeat those Benjamites.
True.
Read 18, please.
The army of Israel began by going up to Bethel, where they asked God, who should go up first to attack the army of Benjamin? Adonai said, Judah first.
Adonai, who should we have attacked their army first? Judah. Judah, yes, Judah was ready for victory. So were all the other tribes. Israel knew they had victory. Well, read 19 through 23.
So the army of Israel got up in the morning and set up their camp near Gibeah. Then the army of Israel went out to attack Benjamin and set up their battle line in front of Gibeah. But the army of Benjamin came out of Gibeah and slaughtered the army of Israel. On that day, 22,000 men fell. The people and men of Israel restored their morale and again positioned themselves for battle where they had been the first day. Then the army of Israel went up and cried before Adonai until evening. Then they asked Adonai, "Should we attack our kinsmen, the people of Benjamin, again?" Adonai answered, "Attack them."
What's going on here? We did as Adonai instructed, and we lost 22,000 men. They only have 27,000. What should we do, Adonai? Go to battle again? Read 24 through 26.
So the army of Israel went out and attacked the army of Benjamin the second day. But Benjamin went out against them from Gibeah the second day and slaughtered the army of Israel. 18,000 men armed with swords fell. 24 and 25, right?
In 26.
Then the whole army of Israel, all the people, went up to Bethel and cried and sat there in the presence of Adonai. They fasted that day until evening, offered burnt offerings and peace offerings to Adonai.
Lost another 18,000 men. That's 40,000 men. That's more than the other Benjamites had at all. The whole Israelite army fasted, had burnt offerings, even peace offerings at Bethel. Another Bethel. Adonai, what are we to do now? Read 27 through 31, please.
And asked Adonai what to do. The ark of the covenant of God was there at the time. And Pinchon, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it at that time. They said, "Should we go out to battle against our kinsmen, the people of Benjamin, or should we stop?" Adonai answered, "Attack, because tomorrow I will hand them over to you." Israel hid some men around Gibeah, and on the third day Israel attacked the army of Benjamin and took a position against Gibeah as they had the other times. Again, the army of Benjamin went out against the people. Lured away from the city, they began attacking and killing some of the people as they had the other times. They killed about 30 men of Israel in the countryside and on the roads, one of which goes up to Bethel and the other to Gibeah. 31.
Just 231. Did you notice this time they mentioned Aaron's grandson Penchaz and the Ark of the Covenant, which is in Bethel. No victory yet, so should we continue or stop? Don't stop now. Attack tomorrow. They're yours. Okay. Let's look at something that I'm sure your priest has pointed out before, maybe many times. Those 26,700 soldiers of the tribe of Benjamin were ready to fight the rest of Israel. To back the mob who raped this concubine, even abused her all night long until dawn. Were they angry because they didn't act for her, but they wanted him? Interesting thought. Read 22, please.
Judges
1922. 1922.
They were relaxing when suddenly some men from the city, good for nothing, surrounded the house and began beating at the door. "Send out the man who came home with you," they demanded of the old man whose house it was. "We want to have sex with him."
This mob, these good for nothings, wanted the Levi, not his concubine. This mob took turns raping and mistreating this woman. And the army of Benjamin gave their thumbs up for their actions so much they were willing to die for them, if necessary, to protect the right of that, or those good for nothing, to treat women and men that way. That's kind of an odd way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yet it seemed Adonai wasn't giving the other tribes instant victory for their actions of the Levi who allowed his concubine to go through it either. In other words, it's kind of interesting. Adonai isn't really rushing to victory for these people that's backing this Levi who let his concubine be raped all night long.
Until day 3.
So it wasn't an instant victory because Adonai, as far as I'm concerned, Adonai was angry with this Levi too. Here's something to ponder. The rest of the tribes were backing this Levi, who it doesn't seem told the truth. Was Adonai also not pleased with them either? Yes, the Benjamin tribe in the end paid a big toll, and the rest of the tribes lost 40,000 or 10% of their soldiers also. When we studied those verses, we see where Adonai didn't condone either. I bet your priest has told you that many times.
Never.
If you look at the punishment, read 19, go to chapter 19, 32 through 46.
19 or 20?
It says 19 there.
It doesn't have that many verses. It has to be verses.
Oh, 20, 32 to 46.
That's where I left off.
My problem.
The army of Benjamin said, and how far am I going? 46?
32 to 46.
Okay. The army of Benjamin said, they're defeated just as before. But the army of Israel said, let's run off and draw them away from the city onto the roads. All the men of Israel left their places and took up a battle position at Baal Tamar, where the other Israel men burst out of their hiding places at Meragivah. 10,000 men chosen out of all of Israel came over to attack Gibeah, and the combat was intense. But the army of Benjamin didn't know that they were about to be defeated, for Adonai routed Benjamin in Israel's presence. That day the army of Israel destroyed 25,100 men of Benjamin, all of whom carried swords. And the people of Benjamin realized that they had been beaten. The men of Israel, trusting the ones they had put in place to ambush Benjamin, gave ground to the men of Benjamin. Then the men who had been lying in wait rushed into Gibeah, drew their swords, and destroyed the city. The army of Israel and the ambushers had agreed that as a signal they would make a huge cloud of smoke rise from the city, at which time the men of Israel would turn back. When this happened, Benjamin began to attack. They killed about 30 of Israel's men and said, clearly we're defeating them again, as in the first battle. But when the smoke signal began rising from the city, the men of Israel looked behind them and saw the whole city going up to the sky in smoke. Then as the men of Israel reversed directions, those of Benjamin were overcome with terror. When they saw that disaster had come upon them, they turned their backs on the men of Israel and made for the road to the desert. But the battle followed them, and those who came out of the city destroyed them from the rear. They surrounded the men of Benjamin, chased them, and trampled them down across from Gilead to the east. 18,000 of Benjamin fell, all of them experienced soldiers. They turned and fled toward the desert to the rock of Rimmah. About 5,000 of them were killed on the roads. They followed them to Gideon and killed another 2,000. Thus the total number of Benjamin who fell on that day was 25,000 experienced sword-bearing soldiers.
Their plan worked. They lured the great fighting men away from the city and set Gibeah on fire. They did more to the territory. Go down and read 48, please.
The men of Israel turned back to the people of Benjamin and killed them with the sword, the entire city, the cattle, and everything they found. Moreover, they set on fire all the cities they encountered.
They killed, that's what I said. They did more to the territory. They killed the people in the area of Benjamin and set the city on fire, but not all of the Benjaminites were killed. Now go up to 47, because that's interesting.
But 600 turned and fled toward the desert to the rock of Rimmon and lived there 4 months.
Now by that scripture, we know not all Benjamites died. The very interesting, yet confusing, comes from, well, you might say Judges 21. Now, I looked this stuff up in a lot of commentaries and a lot of Bibles. One commentary states that Israelites moved from one mess to another. Isn't that the truth? Now, Brother George, he says it all the time. Yep. Israel like this. Very confusing, yet very interesting. We know the tribe of Benjamin didn't die off completely. Go to, read 1 Samuel 9:21. It's kind of interesting. They're supposed to kill them all off. All right.
Saul replied, I'm only a man from Benjamin, the smallest tribe in Israel, and my family is the least important of all the families in the tribe of Benjamin. Why are you saying such a thing to me?
Shaul, or Saul, the first king of Israel, was from the tribe of Benjamin, the smallest tribe. Well, yeah, the smallest tribe because most of them were killed off. Now go to Romans 11, verse 1. Another interesting statement.
Romans 11, verse 1. In that case, I say, isn't it that God has repudiated the people? Heaven forbid, for I myself am a son of Israel from the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin.
Here's another Saul, known, also as Paul. And he was from the tribe of Benjamin. I guess they must not have killed off all of them.
There's a little 600, however.
Now my sweetie's going to go to Esther 2, 5 through 7.
Oh, these are all those words. Sorry, guys. There was in Shushan, the capital, a man who was a Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Yair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish of Benjamin. He had been exiled from Jerusalem with all the captives, exiled with somebody, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, had carried off. 7. He had raised Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, because she had neither father nor mother. The girl was shapely and good-looking. After her father and mother's death, Mordecai had adopted her as his own daughter.
A Benjamin who, read 17. Comes kind of interesting of another Benjamite person.
The king liked Esther more than any of his wives. None of the other virgins obtained such a favor and approval from him. So he put his royal crown on her head and made her queen in the place of Vashti.
She became queen? I thought that was really interesting. After they were told to kill off everybody, two of them, one became the first king, one became known as what a lot of people in the New Testament hold up high, and that's Paul. And one of the Benjamites became queen. That's kind of interesting.
From those 600, I guess it took off.
Yeah, those 600 must have been some influential
because
people.
It was what, 26, 25.
Well, that was, all that extra studying was kind of interesting as far as I'm concerned. I mean, how often do you, if Adonai told you to go in and kill everybody off and they did it, then what, are you saying there wouldn't have been a first king of Israel by the name of Saul? Paul wouldn't have been the author of all the books of the New Testament, what they call the New Testament. And one of the queens would not have been a Benjamite. That was an interesting finding. And we had up to 3 people watching, four people at one time. And boy, after I started talking about halfway through this, just dipped down to 1.
2.
Well, sometimes 2. Okay. Next week, we're going to finish off in Judges. We're going to find out more about this story,
Yeah.
I think,
There's more to it, I'm sure.
for the rest of the story. Was it
Paul Harvey.
Yeah. You people have a good week. I hope you have fun this week. Hope you have a good time. Nan, get better because you can't run around. You just got done with the hospital or rehab or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope every one of you that do watch this study more. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. I don't care what denomination or church or priest that you listen to. You got to do it your own. Because remember when I started this? Politics is like religion. If you don't have the truth, you don't have anything. Any argument with that?
Nope.
Have a good week. Bye.